All right, welcome to RebTalk, and we have another edition of RebTalk for you this week, and we've got some great guests for you as we continue to kind of do our relaunch versions of RebTalk via Zoom. I'm getting better at Zoom. This guy I'm talking to, I bet he's been Zooming every day with coaches and players. It's kind of like a leash, isn't it, Devante Schuler?
Yeah, it is. Just a little bit.
Hey, we're so excited to get to visit with you. And, of course, Devante is one of our basketball players. We're going to add some student athletes to RebTalk the rest of the way and do some
Okay.
basketball, football, baseball, different people. And we got Devante Schuler here. But, of course, a guard on the Ole Miss basketball team, senior out of Irmo, South Carolina. Are you in Irmo right now?
Yes, sir, I am.
Hanging out, huh? You told me you just got a workout in.
Yes, sir. I just got done lifting some weights and working on the ladder a little bit.
And show all our fans behind you. You were showing me a minute ago what you got going in the yard there.
Let's show you what I got going on, man. I got the ladder right here.
I love it.
Over there. A little good backyard. I can show you the where I lift at a little bit. Some working right here.
It may not be the TUI Center, but it's close, huh?
Yeah, I just be lifting and with the ladders,
Wow.
Weights over there. Yeah, we just chilling until I get back to school.
That is neat. We've been talking to different people, some of our strength coaches and all, on how you guys are going to try to stay in shape, before you get back. So it's good to see you making an effort. Maybe you challenge some of the other Ole Miss student athletes to figure out a way to get it done, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's always a way to get it done, even when it's not a way.
That's no doubt. Devante, of course, had a really good year this past year, was one of two Rebels to start all 32 games. He led our team in steals and also assists and finished in the one of the best in the SEC. In fact, he and Ashton Hagans of Kentucky were the only two that were in the top 5 of both of those categories. So now you grew up with what, 8 kids in the family?
Yeah, I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
They're all named D, right, like you?
Yes, sir. Everyone starts with D. Everyone in my family played basketball, from my mom and my dad.
So it's let me see if I got this right. Dante, DJ, Dominic, Dontrell, DeAndre, Danella, and Denisha are the 2 sisters, right?
That's right. That's right.
And you.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, what was it like around the house with y'all growing up? I mean, there must have been some competition going on.
It was definitely competition. It was competition in everything we did, cleaning up the house and, us going outside, playing outside on a basketball goal we had in the front yard. It was a lot of competition. But I feel like having that competition kind of prepared me for me being around other people, that just been my mindset, just being around them. They pushed me a lot. I'm the second to the youngest child. I'm the 7th child. So, I got people to look up to and, people to push me.
Well, they all played basketball, and so I know that. And I met one of your sisters when we were up there not too long ago. That they got their opinions, I'm sure, the input that they give you. But it's kind of good to have that kind of support, I would think.
Definitely. My family, like, not even just having my friends, like we said, like, my family, it's so much of us, we can have our own basketball team.
Yeah.
So, like.
I would think it'd be pretty good, too, right?
Yeah. My family. Actually, if you ask me, honestly, I think all my older brothers were better than me. I think kind of nowadays we just got more exposure. We got more exposure and more college recruits going to games, high school games out here. So I kind of think that was like a big part of why they didn't get, as far as I am right now. But, that's just I kind of just use that situation to, like, push me to go harder so I can show them, like, it's going to still happen for us.
Let me ask you this. You had a tough decision to make. I mean, you're getting looked at by, that next level. And so you were on that, verge of, what do I do? Do I test the waters? Do I come back? You decided to come back to Ole Miss. Of course, us Ole Miss people are tickled about that. But
yes, sir.
Tell us what went into that decision.
I think just me, I love just being, like, a leader. Of course, I had Bree and Tyree last year. He was also a great leader, but I think I performed better. Like, I won't say I performed better, but I love to have, like, more leadership on my end. I like having the team on my back and controlling, like, the team. Like, so I feel like that was just a big part of me coming back. And, the virus kind of messed up a lot of NBA team workouts. And so I was just like, a lot of seniors right now really wish they had another year. for them to come back and do that year all over again. So I just took it as me being just being in Brian's position or people that are seniors, and just use that extra eligibility.
Yeah, last year, Devante, we were right on the verge. It seemed a lot of games just kind of got away at the end, last couple of minutes, and that kind of thing. I thought we had a really good team. What do we do to shore that up this next time around?
I think that just goes with just practices, us in practices instead of people trying to get out of practice and trying to go home. I think we should just lock in until practice actually ends. So a lot of our games were like we would have a bad practice and then go to like have a game the next day, and then we'll realize that the game, the same way we ended practice was the same way the game ended. So that's how it really goes. So I think this year I'm gonna be more of a leader for us to lock in more in practice. Like I watch Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary, and I just see like him in practice, he was just different in practice. So
yeah, I was going to ask. That's one of my questions. I was going to ask you if you watched that, and what a great lesson from MJ though. And of course, he's up from your part of the world. He played at North Carolina and all, but the lesson there is that we think that he's so good, all he has to do is show up, but that's not true.
Yeah.
Even if you're really, really that good and you put, the effort in, then you can be so much of a better player.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you this. You coming back June 8th? We're going to get you back. I mean, I know you eating good and enjoying South Carolina.
I am enjoying it here. I think it'd be better for me to go back early because, like, I've been here working with my friends a lot. That was my main goal for me to come back. I feel like I'm going to have a big year, like a big year to where, like, it's going to be kind of hard for me to come back home, but except for, like, special occasions. So I kind of use this to, like, come back, work out have my friend work me out every day. I get up at 6:40 every morning, be here at 7. So I think this was just kind of this is going to be a big summer for me, So.
You mentioned Brian, Devante. We're losing him. What a great player we had, and he'll go down. He's one of our best for sure. But a lot of the other pieces are coming back, and then you look at what Coach Kermit's added to the program with some transfers and all. How do you feel about the roster when you get back?
We definitely have a experienced roster. Last year we had experience, but KJ and Blake, they were only sophomores last year, but now they're juniors. So I think they got like a much more better feel for the game, and they understand how the SEC is played. So I think we're definitely gonna last year we had a lot of troubles on rebounding the ball. We added Romello White, and I see he finished second in rebounds in his conference, and we got C coming back. I think he has a better feel for the SEC. I think that was kind of his deal. SEC is kind of different from ACC or the conference he played in. So, like, I think Coach added some great pieces, and we should be able to honestly win, like, finish top 5 in our conference.
Yeah, I think so too. And, you make a great point because I thought the same thing too. Post-rebounding was the issue.
Yeah.
You put so much stress on you guys in the perimeter to have to go in and get rebounds too. But
right.
I think maybe they've definitely solved that. All right, let me ask you personally. You're
Yes,
coming
sir.
back, your senior year. What do you want to do to make Devante Schuler even better?
Okay, I think I just, I want to score the ball more. Like, that's what I'm known for. Like, I haven't really shown my ability of scoring the basketball. Like, that's one of my best parts about my game. People probably say, like, my defense and, I rebound the ball good, but, like, me, like, from what I know that I can do, I carry the team. Once I'm, like, the main leader on the team, I know how to carry a team. Like one, you can't divide one. So that's how I do it. Like, I put my team together, I check on my teammates. I think that was just a big role for us last year. We had leadership, but, it's no limitation to leadership. So
Jarkel Joyner's going to get to play. Sean's going to get to play. I know those two guys have been waiting in the wings, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually excited for those guys. They gave us hard times in practice. They competed against us, especially Jarkel. He's gonna come in with a lot of pop. I know he's hungry. He sat out that whole year, and he just sat there and watched me and Brian. So like, he looks up to us a lot. And Jarkel's, I don't think I don't think the SEC experience is going to kind of mess with him a little bit because he has the dog mentality. I think he kind of wants that. Like, he wants to have it hard on him because he knows he can get through anything.
Hey, listen, man, it's great visiting with you. I'm not going to keep from that workout. You know, Coach Davis may get a little mad at me if I cut your workout short. Hey, we can't wait to get you back here and get to see you again. And I'm looking forward to the start of the basketball. It sure was weird with no dance this year, wasn't it? It was kind of a strange ending to Ole Miss basketball for us. And then, of course, there was no postseason for anybody. We were one of the last teams to play in the basketball season. That was strange, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was.
All right, my man. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Nice meeting with you.
All right, Devante Schuler from the Ole Miss basketball team on RebTalk. When we come back, Joe John Finley from Ole Miss football assistant coach will join us next.
That's the sound of rush hour. Hello, recess.
Mom!
Work from home is a lot of work. Even though we're a little further apart right now, we're still in this together. Regions is donating this ad to local food banks to shine a light on them as they feed our neighbors in need. Learn how you can help or get help at regions.com/foodbank. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Question. Would you rather refuel while earning Exxon and Mobil Rewards Plus points on every gallon? Or would you rather refuel while sitting through my sales pitch for an exciting new timeshare opportunity? Interesting. You'd prefer the points. Well, that's proof. People prefer earning and redeeming with Exxon and Mobil Rewards Plus over owning a condo that's actually my shed. Earn points in-store and at the pump with Exxon and Mobil Rewards Plus. Sign up today. Terms and conditions may apply. Available at participating Exxon and Mobil locations.
Right now is the best time to upgrade your appliances and lower your energy bill with Smart Choice rebates from Atmos Energy. As an Atmos Energy customer in Mississippi, you'll save up to $450 when you buy select high-efficiency natural gas appliances. So use less energy and help keep our planet green. Call 877-616-6267 or visit atmosenergy.com/smartchoicems for details. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
We need the fans, alumni, foreign players all united and everybody on the same page, which is to win championships. We didn't come here to be good. All right, that's not why we're here today. We came here to be great. Hey Rebel Nation, this is head football coach Lane Kiffin. Let's lock the bot Saturdays this fall. Become a season ticket holder today. Visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. Hotty toddy.
Our farmers work their operations from daylight to dark, and sometimes later. They deserve a lender that does the same. I'm Matthew Raff with the Mississippi Land Bank. If you make your living on the farm, this is your place. Since 1916, Mississippi Land Bank has worked alongside farmers and farm communities in North Mississippi. Come by and visit one of our 6 local branches. Mississippi Land Bank, this is your place. Visit us at mslandbank.com.
Hotty toddy Ole Miss. Now for more Reb Talk, here's David Callum.
Hey, welcome back to Reb Talk. David Callum again with you here, and we've had a lot of fun cranking Reb Talk back up. We just soon COVID not be with us, and we were doing other things, but it's been a joy to get to meet a lot of our new football coaches, and there are several, and new staff members. And here in this week's Reb Talk, we have Joe John Finley, who's with us, who's the assistant coach, passing game coordinator, tight ends, and is brand new, obviously, at Ole Miss. He's been in Oxford over the last month or so. But first of all, Coach, welcome to Reb Talk. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going good. It's like everybody else. It's in my home office for the first time in my whole career. I get to use this thing, so it's worked out good.
Well, it's made things kind of different. I'm going to talk a little bit about his bio, but he's from Arlington, Texas, and is an Oklahoma grad, former NFL tight end. He played for the 49ers, the Lions, and the Panthers, and he's coached at Oklahoma, Baylor, Missouri, Texas A&M recently, and now he's at Ole Miss, and he played high school football at Arlington, Texas, under his dad, Mickey, from 99 to 2002, and was a quarterback, and then went to the pros as a tight end, but ran for 897 yards, 9 touchdowns rushing as a senior quarterback, 12 touchdowns to the air, 1,626 yards. You remember those days, Coach?
I remember them. I'm starting to forget them, but it was good times. You know, I got to play for my dad, which is special. And then obviously, you know, you hear about Texas high school football. So that's what I grew up knowing. I didn't even know there was such a thing as college football until about 8th grade. My brother started getting recruited. So it was good times, and learned a lot of football. You know, just a junkie. Like when school was over, I went to the field house and I sat in there until it's time to go home with my dad. So sit there till 8, 9 o'clock at night watching ball and listen to him talk to every position coach on the team. You know, from offensive line to receivers to defensive line. So you can't help but learn a lot of stuff just sitting in there with your dad doing that stuff.
You know, when you get to be the quarterback on a team, that's kind of the elite position. But a quarterback in Texas high school football, when you think about all the quarterbacks that have come through the state and have just gone all over the place, that had to be a pretty good little fraternity you were in, huh?
It was awesome. We were lucky enough to have a really good football team. My dad had a lot of good football teams in his career, and then kind of made the change when my brother played ball at Nebraska back when Tom Osborne was there. And so I was a big option quarterback is what I was. And so I was very lucky. I had some good players to pitch the ball to. So that's why I had all those yards. They just didn't want my running back carrying the ball.
They cut you loose, huh? Let me ask you this. You know, playing for your dad, was it more pressure? Was he tougher on you? You know, we see that in athletics and sports a lot where, you know, youngsters play for a relative. How was that relationship with you and him?
It was really good for us. He really kind of went hands off with me. He let the quarterback coach me. Now he coached the quarterback coach pretty hard, but he let him coach me. There was times that he stepped in and said what he needed to say, but no more than any other football player on our football team. And it was just a whole lot of fun. He's still, obviously I'm biased, but he's one of the best coaches I've ever been around. Just getting kids to believe and buy in, and there's a reason, you know, he had so much success in Texas high school football because everywhere he went, they believed what he was preaching, and he won a lot of football games.
You know, you mentioned being at home in Oxford. How's that been? I know you've got a wife, Kaylee, daughter, Blakely, and son, Knox. What's it been like moving to Oxford? Well,
it's been good, and I got to get that fixed. I have a third. Her name's Scout, and she's 3. And
they don't have that on the bio here.
I know. She's been left off since day one. And so
we got to fix that, man. We're going to get in trouble.
I'm in hot water with my wife, so I got to get that fixed. And now we have another one coming in July. So
4. We're 2 behind.
Yeah. So we got our work cut out for us. She does, especially when all this stuff ends and I have to go back to work. But it's been really good. We moved out to the west side, and so there's some fishing ponds that we get to go and take the kids to when we get some downtime. And everybody's been extremely friendly all the way across the board. My wife went and got her hair done, and everybody, she's like, I just couldn't believe how many people knew who I was just going to get a haircut, you know, and they were all extremely nice to her and welcoming. So it's been great so far.
Well, I've been here a long time. You're going to enjoy it. I promise you. It's a cool place. I just wish we could kind of share the town right now. We're dealing with all this COVID stuff. Let's talk some football. I mentioned your bio, you know, you've coached at some really good places. You had a nice NFL career, you know, coached by an outstanding coach and your dad out of high school. So I would think just your knowledge of the game, you feel like you had some pretty good stops, don't you think?
I have, you know, like I said, starting in high school ball with my dad, which we talked about, and then playing for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, and was really under some good coaches that weren't the head coaches at Oklahoma that kind of shaped me as a little bit further. And then the tight end position, I really credit Pete Hainer, who is at the Carolina Panthers right now, one of the best tight end coaches in the country, really, all levels. That's kind of where I learned how to play the position the way I teach it for the most part. Obviously, always trying to get better, but got to be around some really good tight ends as well. Vernon Davis, Delaney Walker, both of those guys. It was me, Vernon Davis, and Delaney Walker in the tight end room in San Francisco. I said, something that fit right here, you know, and so
yeah.
But it was fun just to be around those guys and learn from them and see how they approach the game, how they approach practice every single day, and then got to go be in Detroit with Tony Scheffler and Pettigrew, and then I went to camp with the Carolina Panthers with Greg Olson, who's one of the he's like a quarterback. So every time he got in the meeting room, I tried to sit in there and just pick his brain and listen to what he had to say. And you just learn, different stuff from different people. They see the game differently, but obviously, they're all Pro Bowlers, so they're doing something right. And again, got to be around some more great coaches. I think just learning new systems and different ways to do things, and enjoyed every second of it.
Think about tight ends from Ole Miss. Of course, right now we got Evan Ingram with the Giants, who's a phenomenal player and maybe kind of more of the hybrid type tight end. We'll get you to talk about that here in a moment. But Wesley Walls with the Panthers was a great tight end in the NFL. Chris Mangum from Ole Miss too. So we've had a string of really good tight ends through the years.
And Knox, that's up in Buffalo, which is just here recently. So they've come through here, and I've used those guys. When you're in SEC, you watch everybody play everybody, and you notice when you see a tight end that's special. And when you turn Evan Ingram's tape on, you said, man, that guy can play. And not just because he can go catch passes, because, he didn't really get to do as much of that here as he did compared to what he's doing right now. But, man, he didn't care. He was unselfish. He went in there and threw his hat in there and blocked people and bent. And it was fun to watch. And I use those guys in my film still, even – at A&M, Missouri, all those places, I use it. This is how you do this, guys. This guy, he's a first-round draft pick. This is him doing it. Now put yourself on tape and see what you look like and see what the difference is, and you can see what the difference is real quick.
Let's talk about tight ends in this particular offense with Coach Levy and Coach Kiffin and you guys, and you're going to be the passing game coordinator. Tight ends, it kind of fits a big category. It could be, in the good old days, an offensive lineman that played on the end that might catch a pass every now and then on a jump pass, even to the hybrids that we see like Evan Ingram and all. But define what a tight end is going to be in this offense.
I think a big part of it is the hybrid part of it. We ask those guys to do everything. So we can't ever get enough individual time because we have to do so much. We have to run routes. You have to run block. You have to pass block. We have to run routes from inline. You have to run routes from split out. Then you got to be in the backfield like a fullback / running back type player. And so, and to add on to that, everybody wants us in different drills. So you got 7-on-7 with the receivers, and then you got inside with the big boys. And so you got about 6 minutes to cover all the rest of it. And we take pride in that, though. We put in the extra work, and we're going to use those guys all over the football field. I think that's the biggest advantage to what we do on offense is, we're not going to be in – we try not to be in 10 personnel. We want to be in 11 personnel, 12 personnel, just to make things simple for the defense. We don't want them to know that we got 4 wide receivers out there, and these are the 3 runs you can do out of that. So, we want to put our tight ends out there in a place where they can still be a threat and people have to defend them. And then if they want to defend us one way, we can put them in the backfield. And so we'll have them all over the football field. We'll ask them to do a whole lot of things. And as you saw in Missouri with Albert O, who caught 11 touchdowns as a redshirt freshman and was had all the awards and everything, he did it all. And he played receiver in high school. And so he came in, and within 2 years, he was ready to go in. He blocked. He got in line. He was in the wing position. He got in the backfield. And he was such a big threat receiving-wise, we put him out there as the single receiver in a 3-by-1 set. We put him in the inside of a 3-by-1 set, and then we put him on the inside of a 2-by-2 set. So if you come play tight end at Ole Miss, there's nothing that you won't get to do that they're going to ask you to do at the next level. And that's one of my biggest selling points is you come here, everything you're going to be expected to do at the next level, you're going to put on tape against some of the best players in the country every single week. And so it's not a question of, I think that guy can do it, or maybe he can do it. It's he's on film doing it. So now I want to draft that guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no doubt. We've got 8 or 9 on the roster listed as tight ends. How do you feel about the room for this upcoming year?
I feel good about the room. Like you said, now the 2 guys that have played left this past year, which is just an opportunity for the next guys. We got the first guy I talk about is Kenny Yaboa that came from Temple and transfer kid. Just wanted somebody in the room with some playing experience, and he came in and had a chance to go on to the next level early and decided to come back and really step up to the next level in college, which if you talk to their coaches, they didn't want him to leave, and that's with all these transfers and grad transfers, you do your research, and if they're happy they left, then you probably don't want them on your football team anyway. And he was not that way. He's a really smart young man. He's a leader for these guys already, and excited to have him. Expect him to do all those things that we just talked about from our tight end. And then the rest of the room is big time. They have big time opportunity, and a lot of young guys with some talent, and it's going to be who's going to get in the books, who's going to be physical, and who's going to go make plays, and every one of them will have an opportunity to go do that.
Seems like you'll have a lot of competition in that area.
Yeah, we got a great room, and they help each other, man. I've been so excited. We got to meet just a little bit before all of this stuff went down, and they have a whole bunch of fun, but when it's time to go to work, man, they get serious, and they want to be great at football. They want Ole Miss to be a great football team, and that's all you can ask for. I got to teach them how to do the rest. If they're going to give me everything they got, it's on me to get them playing well, and I got great confidence in that we'll be able to do that.
So we're getting them back June 8th for individual workouts and all. We just found that out here recently. How are the coaches, what degree can you interact at this point? And I know you're glad they are coming back to try to get them up to speed physically and all.
Yeah, I think most of the time that they're there, they'll be around the strength coaches, working out and getting their lungs back and making sure their body's ready to go through a season. They missed out on, obviously, all the spring ball, which conditions your body to the pounding that you're going to take, and then just all the extra lifting and all that stuff. So we've communicated with them. We've done as best we can to get them the workouts that they need to do, and they've done a great job of coming through with that. It's just never the same as when you're with your guys. It's always a little bit harder when you're going to push each other and do those things. So they've done a great job, and then as we get into it, hopefully we'll start getting into some football as July rolls around.
Joe John, before we let you go, your relationship with Lane Kiffin, how it all came to be. And I look at this staff and I go, wow, what a group of guys and women involved in the staff as well. This is an incredible group of people.
It really is. And, I was at Texas A&M. I'm a Texas boy, and I thought I'd be there for a long time. And I enjoyed my time there. Coach Fisher took great care of me. I learned a lot from him. I just, with Jeff Lebby, Randy Clements, both of those guys, they're both the same as me. We both grew up in Texas. Our dads know each other. It's not often that you get to go be with your best friend and coach football in the SEC West. And obviously, Lane Kiffin's done a great job. I did not know him before this process, but got to know him during the interview process and through Coach Lebby. And I can't say enough about the guy. The knowledge of the game that he's put on us within, 4 or 5 weeks that we got to sit in the meeting room was exceptional. It's again another great coach that I get to be around and learn from. And I'm just excited to be here and can't wait to strap it up in hopefully September.
Well, hey, good luck with the new baby. Tell the wife that we're going to make sure we get all the names on the bio there. We don't want her getting mad at you or me or anybody else. But how many are you guys going to have? You're doing pretty good so far.
This is the last one. This is the last one. 4's enough.
Coach, thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you down the road.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Joe John Finley joining us here on RebTalk. When we come back, we will be visiting with Dr. Marshall Crowther. That's next.
In sports, success is measured in the number of points scored, in games won, and in championships earned. At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in how we support our communities, in being there when you need us most. In fact, 9 out of 10 people surveyed with a claim would recommend Shelter to a friend. To find out how Shelter can be there for you, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield, we're your shelter.
Hi, this is Gant Boone with Oxford University Bank. You've heard about our Kasasa Cash checking account paying 2.5% interest on balances up to $50,000. That interest could, depending on your balance, pay for an unlimited cell phone plan for you and one other, or pay for 2 gas fill-ups per month for an average-sized gas tank, or maybe a nice meal on the square is what you desire. Regardless, this is real money we will give you for doing 3 things you are probably already doing. So stop in today or visit us online at liveoxfordbankoxford.com. Oxford University Bank, member FDIC.
Percentage quoted as annual percentage yield.
Hey Rebel Nation, this is head football coach Lane Kiffin. Let's lock the Vot Saturdays this fall. Become a season ticket holder today. Visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. Hotty toddy.
For over 50 years, Mississippi Asthma and Allergies board-certified team of allergists have treated patients in Mississippi by identifying triggers that cause patients trouble and creating personalized treatment plans. Now with offices in Jackson, Ridgeland, Meridian, d'Iberville, and Oxford, it's like we're right next door when you need us. Treating adults, infants, teens, and Ole Miss students. Find the Mississippi Asthma and Allergy Clinic near you at msaac.com. Mississippi Asthma and Allergy, helping Mississippi live life to the fullest.
That's the sound of rush hour. Hello, recess. Work from home is a lot of work. Even though we're a little further apart right now, we're still in this together. Regions is donating this ad to local food banks to shine a light on them as they feed our neighbors in need. Learn how you can help or get help at regions.com/foodbank. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
As we navigate the COVID-19 crisis, O'Reilly Auto Parts is dedicated to serving you. We've been deemed an essential business, so our doors will stay open. We encourage you to buy online, then pick up curbside. Together, we're committed to getting through this.
Hotty toddy Ole Miss. Now for more RebTalk, here's David Callum.
Hey, and welcome back to RebTalk. I'm David Kellum. We're in our third segment of this week's RebTalk. We've really enjoyed getting a chance to visit with not only our new football coaches and all, but also in this third segment, we spent a lot of time with some people that you don't normally see. Now, this particular guy I talked to all year. We travel together and hang out a pretty good bit, but it's Dr. Marshall Crowther who's going to join us here in the third segment, who his plate has already been kind of full. Now it's fixing to get real full, to say the least. But, hey, Doc, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you? I
Doing
tell you,
good.
I'd rather be out at the baseball stadium watching baseball than doing interviews on COVID, that's for sure. I guess we'd be getting ready for a regional this week, right?
Oh, I know it. SEC tournament would have wrapped up this past week, and they keep coming with. I saw where D1 baseball did a projected field. I'm gonna go, don't do that to us. I mean, we were in such great shape. We'll see. If you can gear that up again, you would hope so. With a lot of those guys coming back. Dr. Crowther oversees all of our 18 of our sports, and is the medical director, and he also works as physician at the Student Health Center too, with the general population on campus. And he did his residency at Greenville Hospital, University Medical Center in Greenville, South Carolina, and Fellowship of the American Sports Medicine Institute in Birmingham, and was under Dr. James Andrews. Everybody knows extremely well, and we're looking forward to visiting with him here. And one of the things he was tasked with here recently was to be on the task force with the SEC. All 14 schools had a medical representative involved in this task force, and they've been meeting by video conference, and updates from these meetings been provided to the presidents and the chancellors, and also the athletic directors, kind of give them an idea of what these professionals are thinking. And the task force is also going to be responsible for the students coming back here in June, and they've already been working on this as a possibility. So we're looking forward to visiting with Dr. Crowther, as he, of course, represents Ole Miss on that task force. And the voluntary in-person athletics activities can resume in the SEC June the 8th under strict supervision, which Marshall's going to be involved with, I'm sure. But I want to start with the task force, Dr. Crowther, just kind of what you guys have been dealing with over the last several weeks.
Yes, it's been a good experience. I tell you, with all of our member schools in the Southeastern Conference, the conference did a great job of assembling a group of several different specialties, which has been good. We have a lot of talent here in the conference when you look at all the schools, because we've had not only team physicians like myself, but also infectious disease specialists at various schools, public health experts, so people that know a whole lot more than certainly I do about a lot of these new infectious, contagious diseases. So that's been good to just kind of have some insight from multiple different specialties to try to come up with some best recommendations of how to proceed in these unprecedented times, because this is certainly not something we're used to in our lifetime. So I think that's been a positive for sure, that the conference has really been proactive with trying to figure out the best way to do this. I mean, because these are hard questions to determine, how best do you bring back a lot of athletes all at once and keep them as safe as possible. So it's been good. We're still working several different items on the agenda that still have yet to be determined, but we have made a lot of progress. We've been able to come up with kind of a strategy for testing people, at least what we term a minimal standard. What most schools should all do is a minimal standard, and that includes things like screening athletes over the phone before they come back to campus, screening them again right before they come into the buildings, doing temperature checks every time they come into a building, at least on a daily basis, and then just being real cognizant of watching for any symptoms or any signs that illness may be starting to pop up in our athletes, and being able to deal with those people appropriately and quickly. And it all has to be kind of done in conjunction with our local health departments. And every state's a little bit different, but the task force, we've been able to come up with minimal standards. Now, some schools may go above and beyond that, but at least there is a framework now to how we can at least proceed with getting athletes back in what we deem is the safest way possible.
Well, and maybe the good old days, Marshall, you'd have everybody coming back from Mississippi. Obviously,
right.
In SEC, we've got, national recruiting, and these student athletes are coming from all over the country. All 14 of our schools have got, student athletes coming to the country, and, we have international athletes too.
Right.
And so, I guess you still have to treat them all equally, but some may be coming from areas where COVID was a lot worse than like in Oxford.
Right, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely hot spots around the country and around the world. So we're trying to be aware of that. But also we're, in addition to doing those screenings, both before they travel and again before they arrive into our campus facilities and buildings, we're also going to be doing testing on every single athlete, as well as coaches and staff. And the testing is going to include both obtaining a nasal specimen to actually test for the virus itself, and then as well as getting a blood sample that will test for a prior exposure to the virus to tell us if in fact maybe they were exposed to this in the past. So we are doing that just because of the fact that we are having a large group of people coming from a wide area. And hopefully that will allow us to further pick up more potential cases, and we can deal with those quickly if that is the case, and get those athletes isolated before they can spread it to others.
Is it going to be similar? Because probably somebody's going to have, one of the schools going to have a case or two or whatever, and I don't know if that's necessarily panic time. The younger population seems to be able to handle it better. That doesn't mean everybody, is not going to suffer in some degree, but age-wise, I know that it's the older group. But is the goal kind of similar to an injury? If that happens to a student athlete, isolate them, make sure they get healthy, and then get them back as quick as you can?
Right, and you're exactly right. I mean, for the most part, this disease seems to really be much more serious and severe in the older population and the ones that have underlying health problems. So we, would like to think that our student athletes overall are very healthy. They're young. They don't have a ton of chronic health problems. Now, there's a few cases that may not be the case. And that's not to say that they can't get severe illness with these, because unfortunately there are a few small numbers of cases of young people actually getting severe illness from them. The biggest concern that I think we're going to have, though, is the virus that causes this COVID-19 illness seems to be extremely contagious, probably 3 times or more contagious than the flu is. And so when you're talking about a group of athletes that are congregating together, spending a lot of time together, the chances for it to spread rapidly are there. And so what we don't want to have is a situation where an entire team becomes infected, because it could easily spread, and you don't have much of a team for a time being. And so that's why trying to take every precaution possible just to limit the spread is kind of one of the goals that we have.
What are your thoughts as far as transmitting it? Surfaces, through the air, the cough? Are you better off outside than inside? Because, in athletics, I mean, the proximity is really, really close. It won't be in this individual training as much. I know that you can kind of keep student athletes separated, but at some given point, we're going to have to sweat and bump people around.
Right. Well, for the most part, this is a new virus, and so there's been a lot of unknown about how it's spread. For the most part now, most of the experts, including the CDC, are saying that this disease is primarily spread by respiratory droplets. And those droplets are produced when we talk, when we sneeze, when we cough. And those droplets can travel up to about 6 feet in the air. And so that's where this whole 6-foot social distancing came from. If you can stay 6 feet away from others, the chances of those respiratory droplets that are produced from people are not likely to land in somebody's mouth, nose, or face, and therefore they won't get infected. For a while, there was a lot of concern about it being able to be transmitted on surfaces, just by touching doorknobs and picking up objects that people have touched. It doesn't appear that that's the major route of transmission at this point. Now, that's not to say that it can't happen that way, and we still need to be vigilant with hand washing frequently and washing down commonly touched surfaces. But by and by, the most everybody thinks that this is spread by respiratory droplets when people are interacting in close fashion. If you look at some of the places where there have been major outbreaks, they've been in places where there's been a lot of confinement, nursing homes, up in New York City where people live very close together, the subway system. Anytime you're in small confined spaces, up close and personal, that's when it seems to be able to spread very rapidly. And then, so your question about the outdoors and indoors is another good one. It appears to be much safer to be outside than inside. The heat and the humidity the virus doesn't seem to do well in heat and humidity. And so that's one thing that we have going for us, I guess, in Mississippi. We always complain about the heat and the humidity, but maybe that'll be a good thing for us this year.
Yeah.
But, the more we can get people spread out, not in confined spaces, certainly the better we'll be, and I think the safer we'll be. So.
Let me ask you about masks. Just as a doctor, your thoughts on masks, not only for our student athletes, for the rest of us in the general population. I know there's some mixed comments about do they help, do they not help, and how will they be used maybe with our student athletes?
Yeah, what we're going to do initially, we've gotten several cloth masks that we're going to provide to all the student athletes. We're going to give them one to have at home, and then we're going to have a supply, so to speak, for them to use when they come into our facilities. Now, the masks are not a end-all or be-all to prevent the infection. Okay, I think the masks are used in conjunction with a lot of the other things. One thing that people need to realize is wearing the mask protects the person that you're talking to or you're interacting with, not necessarily by wearing a mask. You're not really protecting yourself, so to speak. Now, if both people and everybody's wearing masks when they're in congregations of people, I think it does help. So it is one piece of the strategy that we're going to use, but it's not the only thing. It's not 100% foolproof, but what it does is it basically just decreases those respiratory droplets from getting out into the air. And so by doing that, then you're protecting others. And so, but it's still, that's done in conjunction with the social distancing, staying 6 foot apart as much as possible, hand washing, being vigilant for symptoms. All those things are going to be kind of part of the strategy. And then obviously, you know, when you're talking about athletes, you can't really work out in a mask. I mean, you're just not able to fully breathe normally that you need to when you're working out. So certainly masks aren't going to be able to be used all the time.
The city of Oxford, Lafayette County, you know, I talked to you about maybe throwing some questions that you might want to talk about. One of these you mentioned, and we all have our 14 communities in the SEC. Oxford is small. I think our folks have done a pretty good job of keeping that number down, you know, compared maybe to some other SEC teams and all. But I think our student athletes may be coming back into a pretty good environment. Of course, we don't want them to bring a lot of bad stuff to our environment, but just your thoughts on that.
Well, I think being in a small town obviously helps in that regard. We don't have an airport here where there's people coming from all over the world into a small area. And so, yeah, our numbers have been down. I mean, I've watched the numbers in Lafayette County here, and I think total number of cases since they started, you know, watching for this has been in the, you know, 120s or something total. And that numbers has remained fairly consistent, and it's risen a few days each, you know, a few number of cases each day, but certainly nothing consistent. Now, the question is, if the university was still open and students were still coming back, say after spring break, I mean, I think everybody feels those numbers would have been a lot higher than they are. So by kind of closing school when they did, it certainly kept those numbers down. So the big question is going to be what's going to happen when, you know, we start bringing back students. And I think a lot of people expect that there's certainly a high potential for that to go up, and that's why it's really going to be important for us to do all these strategies as best we can to try to mitigate that as much as possible.
Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of this interview, with visiting Dr. Marshall Crowther, who is our medical director with Ole Miss Sports, also works with the regular students too. You're going to kind of have a dry run with the student athletes coming back before the rest of the students get here. You see that being maybe a valuable piece for you down the road?
Absolutely. And so we're going to be able to use all the facilities that we use for the regular students, for the athletes initially, and then hopefully get a feel with how this is going to work, because we still have to work out the process of testing. How can we test a lot of people rapidly, get test results back in a timely fashion? We also are going to be working closely with the Mississippi State Department of Health and how we communicate with them closely to be able to contact trace and find people that have had potential exposures to any case that we diagnose, because that's going to be just as important as diagnosing that one patient, but also finding the people they've been in contact with and trying to quarantine those people so they don't go out and spread it further. So it's going to be a large undertaking. I think it's something we can do, but it's certainly going to be with a lot of challenges, just because it's not really been done before in our lifetime for this sort of pandemic. So, but everybody's been proactive, just from the university leadership. We've been on multiple task force for the last 2 months, having these kind of Zoom meetings daily, and everybody is kind of pitched in and lended their expertise to this. So I think we have a good plan going forward, but it's still going to have to see what happens, so to speak.
You know, in addition to the COVID piece, these student athletes have been at home, and I visited with Shannon and Josie and other people about trying to do their physical health and mental health the best you can, and try to get them in routines. And Wilson Love's talked to us about it, and different folks. And I know all of our athletic departments trying to do the very best that they can to let them stay in shape at home, if you will. But 3 months layoff, it's going to be, as they come back and trying to get them in shape. I know that you almost have to stand in the gap with coaches to some degree, because I know coaches want to get them up to speed as fast as they can, but that's going to be an important part of this, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the one good thing. I think we've got great strength coaches here. Coach Love has been involved from the get-go with giving input into how best to proceed. And what we did on the SEC task force, that was one of the other items that we were charged with doing, is determining how best to acclimatize athletes to getting back into rigorous activity, which they have not been used to for the last couple months. And the task force group went across all the different schools in the conference, got input from all the strength and conditioning coaches, some of the sport coaches as well. And so I think that we do have kind of a good guidance going forward. Basically, it's going to involve kind of a 4-week ramp up period that they don't normally have in usual years, where strength and conditioning and sports medicine staff are going to have exclusive access to the athletes during the first couple of weeks. And then after that 2-week period, they're going to integrate more of the sport coaches into it. So it's just a slower ramp up to getting them back to the conditioning and strengthening level that they were before this time period went down.
Wow, great information. It's always fun to visit with you, and doing it publicly on RebTalk. I don't think you really thought you'd be doing this year, did you?
Right. Well, that just shows you the type of unprecedented times we're in. If you're having a doctor on the RebTalk, I'm not sure that that's the most entertainment that there is, but maybe it's useful information anyway.
I'm always comforted when I'm around you. I know something happens to me. I got Doc right here. In closing, I've done this with some of the other people in this segment too, just to the general people that are out there. And I know there's a bunch of different age groups that we're talking to, but you are an MD. And I know that there's a lot of fear involved in this, and I hope you're working on a vaccine. Have you got that?
Well, not me, but I'm hearing good things. I mean, I think that from everything that I'm hearing, that it sounds like that there's several companies that have top vaccine candidates potentially available by the fall. And I mean, if that does happen, that's certainly the quickest that we've ever seen any kind of vaccine made for a new disease. And so that would certainly potentially be a game changer for all of this if a vaccine did come out in the fall, and then maybe we're not even having this conversation this time next year, hopefully. But the biggest thing too, just for the general public, I mean, again, the virus does seem to affect, it can affect anybody at any age, but by far the worst outcomes tend to be the elderly, the ones that have chronic underlying conditions. The young, healthy population, it's still important that they follow all the precautions they can to hopefully prevent getting the illness. One, to hopefully not spread it to the more vulnerable population. Two, to help them be able to continue to participate in things like college athletics and the college experience, because certainly we don't want them laid up in bed for 2 weeks if we can help it. And so, but luckily, the good thing is that for the most part, people tend to recover from this. It may take a little longer than the flu does, but there are things that we can do proactively to hopefully try to mitigate the risk of spread. And that's just simple things that we've learned since we were young. Wash your hands as much as you can. 20 seconds of warm water and soap is the best way to do that. Try to avoid touching your face with your hands, especially if you haven't washed your hands recently or you touched other commonly touched objects. Eating healthy, getting good night's sleep. You need a good immune system to fight off these things, and certainly sleep, and just having an overall healthy lifestyle helps. And that's one good thing about sports. There's participating in sports and having healthy lifestyles probably does offer somewhat of a protective effect too, potentially. So those are all things to consider.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I wish we weren't meeting this way and talking in person. I always love visiting with you and all, but maybe we'll be on a road trip again. Everything will be back to normal. We'll be looking back on this time and say, boy, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Sounds good to me.
All right, Doc. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Marshall Crowley joins. That wraps up RebTalk this week. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.